And without that, there is no way that the Indian Air Force can breach the Pakistan airspace. Now, obviously sense has come, good sense has prevailed by the Indian military appreciation which has been given to the Prime Minister. And the key thing in my opinion that has shifted or made the appreciation sensible is the fact that Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke once the crisis broke with his Pakistani counterpart, and the statement very clearly said that China will support Pakistan's sovereignty and security. Now that is saying a lot, because the People's Liberation Army today has such huge capabilities that without getting into a war, it has so capabilities in the non-kinetic domain that it can tilt the favor of war towards Pakistan. I have said this in my earlier video also. That time, of course, that statement of Wang Yi had not come. So there will be, because of this PLA support, in 5 areas that the Indian military will have big problems. A huge thing to contend with. One is the line of actual control itself, where whatever assets of the Indian Army and the Air Force have been earmarked, there is no way they can be moved to be brought to the Pakistan front. So in any case, depleted assets will be there on the Pakistan front. Second, the lines of communications inside Jammu and Kashmir, especially of the Indian Army, they will need special care. And the experience of Parakram tells us that it is not easy, because 15 Corps and 16 Corps commanders will have to go to their primary task of war, and the command and control becomes critical because for these lines of communication. So this is a big challenge. The third is the challenge of the battlefield itself, because there are so many capabilities. For example, military resolutions of Bedu satellite system of the PLA, they will be available for accurate targeting for the missiles of Pakistan. Then the ISR round the clock surveillance will be available to Pakistan, something that will not be available to the Indian military. I'm just naming 2 of them. There are huge things. Then we know that PLA has the capability today, its cyber capabilities, anti-space capabilities, its capability to cut the internet that comes inside India, that it can bring the civil life within India to a standstill. It can create mayhem and chaos there, which is what the Chinese call the cognitive confrontation and cognitive defeat of the enemy. This is something they do with their non-kinetic capabilities. They are huge. Then a war of attrition, as I said, both of the Army and the Air Force needs a regular supply of spares, critical assemblies and ammunition and missiles, something that the Pakistanis will have, but the Indians will have very difficulty to get that. So you see, this has tilted the whole thing. So in a way it is good that a war has been averted. And I am only talking of the military domain. Of course, there are other things that the Indian side will be looking at, and the Pakistanis will give adequate and due response to that. Now, after the things cool down, perhaps in a week's time, then it will be where the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio may become useful, because there is a report that Marco Rubio, despite President Trump first saying that he has nothing to do with India and Pakistan, now he is to speak both with India and Pakistan. So since both the countries, they listen to America, America could be that country which can bring some sort of normalization or some sort of calm between India and Pakistan. Thank you very much.